Anzû, also known as Zu and Indugud, Sumerian and Im.Ugud Musin, is a lesser divinity or monster in several Mesopotamian religions. He was conceived by the pure waters of the Apsu and the wide earth, or a son of Sirius I. Anzû was depicted as a massive bird who can breathe fire and water, although Anzû is alternately depicted as a lion-headed eagle. Stephanie Daly in Myths from Mesopotamia writes that the Epic of Anzû is principally known in two versions: an Old Babylonian version of the early 2nd millennium BC, giving the hero as Ningersu, and the Standard Babylonian version, dating to the 1st millennium BC, which appears to be the most quoted version, with the hero as Ninurta. However, the Anzû character does not appear as often in some other writings, as noted below. The name of the mythological being, usually called Anzû, was actually written in the oldest Sumerian cuneiform texts as N.im.my Musin. The cuneiform sign, or musin in context, is an ideogram for bird. In texts of the Old Babylonian period, the name is more often found as N.im.Ugud Musin II. In 1961, Landsberger argued that this name should be read as Anzû, and most researchers have followed suit. In 1989, Thorkild Jacobsen noted that the original reading of the cuneiform signs as written, giving the name Dim.Ugud, is also valid and was probably the original pronunciation of the name, with Anzû derived from an early phonetic variant. Similar phonetic changes happen to parallel terms, such as Indugud, meaning heavy wind, becoming Ansik. Changes like these occurred by evolution of the M to N, a common phonetic change, and the blending of the new N with the following D, which was aspirated as DH, a sound which was borrowed into Akkadian as Z or S3. It has also been argued, based on contextual evidence and transliterations on cuneiform learning tablets, that the earliest Sumerian form of the name was at least sometimes also pronounced Zu, and that Anzû is primarily the Akkadian form of the name. However, there is evidence for both readings of the name in both languages, and the issue is confused further by the fact that the prefix N was often used to distinguish deities or even simply high places. N.Zu could therefore mean simply heavenly eagle. Thorkild Jacobsen proposed that Anzû was an early form of the god Abu, who was also syncretized by the ancients with Ninurta/Ningersu, a god associated with thunderstorms. Abu was referred to as Father Pasture, illustrating the connection between rainstorms and the fields growing in spring. According to Jacobsen, this god was originally envisioned as a huge black thundercloud in the shape of an eagle, and was later depicted with a lion's head to connect it to the roar of thunder. Some depictions of Anzû therefore depict the god alongside goats, which, like thunderclouds, were associated with mountains in the ancient Near East, and leafy boughs. The connection between Anzû and Abu is further reinforced by a statue found in the Tel Asmar hoard depicting a human figure with large eyes with an Anzû bird carved on the base. It is likely that this depicts Anzû in his symbolic or earthly form as the Anzû bird, and in his higher, human-like divine form as Abu. Though some scholars have proposed that the statue actually represents a human worshipper of Anzû, others have pointed out that it does not fit the usual depiction of Sumerian worshippers, but instead matches similar statues of gods in human form with their more abstract form, or their symbols carved onto the base. In Sumerian and Akkadian mythology, Anzû is a divine storm bird and the personification of the southern wind and the thunder clouds. For this demon, half man and half bird, stole the tablet of destinies from Enlil and hid them on a mountaintop. Anu ordered the other gods to retrieve the tablet, even though they all feared the demon. According to one text, Marduk killed the bird; in another, it died through the arrows of the god Ninurta. 5. Anzû also appears in the story of Inanna and the Hulubbu Tree 6, which is recorded in the preamble to the Sumerian epic poem Gilgamesh, Enkidu, and the Netherworld 7. Anzû appears in the Sumerian Lugalbanda and the Anzû bird, also called The Return of Lugalbanda. The shorter Old Babylonian version was found at Susa. Full version in Myths from Mesopotamia, Creation, the Flood, Gilgamesh and Others by Stephanie Daly, page 222-8, and at the Epic of Anzû, Old Babylonian version from Susa, Tablet 2, lines 1-83, read by Claus Book 9. The longer late Assyrian version from Nineveh is most commonly called the Myth of Anzû. Full version in Daly, page 205-10, and edited version is at Myth of Anzû.